Hello YouTube pipers, Double O Pipe here, aka Rick. How's everybody today? I think I told you yesterday that I ordered some things from smokingpipes.com, and I think because I live in the same state, they arrived today. How about that? Now that's some quick service. Now this is the pipe I bought. Another Rossi. Similar to the one that I have. But I think the bowl is a little bigger, maybe, possibly. And this portion is different. It's more of an almond shape than round. And this stem is not the, I don't know what you call it, saddle stem. It's not a saddle stem. But I like the length of it. I like the straightness of it. And I like the way this, what do you call this? I've forgotten. Stemel? I don't remember. But anyway, then I got a tub. This is a mighty small tub. I got a tub of the Drucker and Sons Limited Trafalgar, and what it says on the back, if I can get my eyes focused, a classic mixture Trafalgar sets smooth, exotically spicy Turkish tobaccos in perfect balance with a variety of fine bright and red Virginia leaf and just enough Latakia for an elegant English style, with a crisp, dry taste and a subtle campfire-like aroma. The result is a rich, stylish tobacco with lots of character and enough complexity to keep the smoker engaged throughout the bowl and throughout the day. So I thought, oh, and the other one I got was Granger, which is one of the Codger brands. So I thought I would try this Trafalgar and open it right here. Kind of smells like the barn we used to play in when we were kids. Kind of does. But there's something more to it. I don't know what it would be, though. I can't put a name to it. All right. Let me try. It's pretty moist. Now the top layer was a little dry, but the beneath it is kind of moist. So let's see what we can do here. Got some sticks in there. See that stick? And some of these, I guess the lighter colored tobacco is Virginia. Is that kind of what I have gleaned from some of the folks I've heard talk about it? Okay. Well, I got my pipe, my brand new pipe loaded up. I'll put this stick back in the tiny tub. I guess the tubby, because it's not really a tub like this is what I would think a tub is. This is 7 ounces now. That's half a tub actually, because the other tubs that I've gotten okay, there we go. I was about to finish something there. The other tubs I've gotten like shucks. So Walter Raleigh and what was the other one? Carter Hall. So I'm breaking this pipe in with Trafalgar. Wonder if David got his certificate today. I guess because it's going across country, it'll be a little longer. I have a beverage. So if I'm a bit tipsy at the end, you'll know why. No cherry in that. I can taste some different things. Kind of okay. But I can't distinguish what it is. Something in there is numbing my tongue. Would that be the Latakia? Anybody know? Anybody tell me? Might smell like a barn full of hay, but it doesn't taste like hay. I like it. I recommend it. Drucker and Sons Limited Trafalgar. They have, I don't know if it's these guys, but there's one on there called Pembroke. And I might have to get a tub or tubby of that because that's where my dad took his basic training, at Pembroke, HMS Pembroke. That was what was on his sailor's cap when he first started out. And I think there's a Margate too. I spent some time at Margate with my cousins. Boy, did we get drunk. Whew, it was a long time ago, 1966. Best summer I ever had. It was absolutely the best summer I ever had. That was the summer that England won the World Cup. Boy, never saw so much dancing in the streets. Yeah, my dad, like I told you yesterday, was a very practical man. Very quiet man. Very down to earth man. This particular year, I'm trying to think what year it was. I think it was 64. He bought a new car for my mother. I can't remember. It was the Corvair we had. He was beginning to have some trouble with it, and it was a rear-end engine, so He wasn't too familiar with that. Normally he would fix problems. But he traded it in for a Falcon, Ford Falcon, which was green. Not too dark, not too light. It wasn't British racing green, but it was still a green. And the first time I got to drive it, I went by and picked up one of my buddies. Excuse me. And I said, "What you think of the new car?" And he looked at it and he said, "It's not a T-Bird." I said, "No, it's a Falcon." I said, "You know what? I think I'm gonna paint the bird on the side of this thing." And he laughed and he said, "Your dad's not gonna let you do something like that." I said, "I don't know, it looked pretty good." Because so many cars had the names written on the side back in those days. And I had can't remember the name of the book, but it was for people who like to play with lettering, and I was playing with lettering, and I've been dealing with the Old English, and I was getting pretty proficient with it on paper. I said, "Well, I think I'm going to do that." He said, "Yeah, go ahead and try." "Well, you're going to take me for a ride?" he says. "Yeah, hop in. We'll go over to the beach, Folly Beach." He said, "No better place to be." So we drove over there, walked around, went on the pier, saw some people we knew, and listened to some music on the jukebox. And then went on home because it was getting late. We had to go home for supper. Well, this thing was still germinating in my head as we were driving home. And I think him saying, "Your dad will never let you do that," kind of made me wonder if possibly he might. I was sure he was right, but I thought, what the heck, I can ask, which was pretty bold for me because that wasn't something you did. Especially whenever it meant writing on a brand new car that he had just bought, because Dad liked things pristine and he tried to keep them that way. He washed and waxed, and he had the engine just running, purring all the time. So I dropped my buddy off at his house and I went on home. Went inside and I saw the book of letters that I was practicing from. I'll think of the name in a few minutes because it's a well-known book, at least people who enjoy playing with letters. Well, I looked at some of the practicing I had done. I looked at the book and I looked at my mother and I said, "Mom, do you think Dad would let me paint the bird on the side of the Falcon?" And she looked at me. She kind of shook her head. She said, "You can ask him." But I don't think he'll let you. I said, "Well, yeah, I can ask him." She said, "Show him what you've done. Maybe that'll help." So I walked back to the TV room with the book and my practice papers. Of course, the news was on. He always was tied to the news when it was on. So I sat down, put the book in my lap next to him, and waited till the commercial came. And when it came on, I said, "Dad, can I ask you something?" He said, "What's that, son?" I said, see this book? He said, yeah. I said, I've been practicing my lettering on this, and I think I'm pretty good with the Old English. He looked at it and he said, yeah, it does look pretty good. I said, you kind of like the way I've turned these out? And he said, yeah, looks good. He said, you should be proud. I said, well, I am. I thought I'd done pretty good. And about the time I was asked, the news came back on, the commercial was over. So I shut up till the next commercial came on, and I picked it up right where I was. I said, you really like what I've done here? You think it's good? He said, yeah. I said, well, can I ask you another question? He said, what, son? I said, can I paint something on the side of the Falcon in Old English? He said, I don't know. That's a brand new car, son. Why would I let you do that? And what would you want to paint on it? I said, well, it's a Falcon. He said, yeah. I said, it's not a Thunderbird. It's a Falcon. But I'd like to paint on the side, the bird. And he thought about it a second. Normally, this was the time he would say, I don't think so. But he thought about it a second. He looked at what I had shown him. He said, do you think you can do a good job of it? I said, I think I can, yeah. He said, you know, if it doesn't turn out very well, I will want you to take it off. I said, okay, I can do that. I said, but I'll make it look really good. And I don't know, he must have seen something in the face when my face lit up or something. Because he said, okay, give it a try. And I said, you mean it? He said, yeah, I'd like to see what you can do. Well, I was flabbergasted. I said, thank you. I'll do a good job. You'll see. And he said, I think you will. You do that. When do you plan to do it? I said, this weekend. He said, okay. So the news came back on. And I said, thank you. Again, thank you. And ran out. And I was kind of dancing when I got to the kitchen. I said, he said yes. And my mother looked at me and said, what? I said, he said, yes, I could do it. So while I was dancing around, she walked back to the TV room, and I heard them talking. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but she came back up. She had this bewildered look on her face, and she said, yeah, he said, you can do it. What a shock to both of us. I said, yeah, I'm going to do it Saturday. So Saturday came, and I got all my model, that paint that you put on model cars, and the paintbrush. I had a wide paintbrush because you can use the edge of the paintbrush to get those thin and thick lines. And I went out there, and I got the V at a 45-degree angle and kind of penciled it in. And then I put the bird in capital letters, twice the size of the V, and had it straight. So I worked on V, and I got it where I thought it looked pretty good. And then I went for the bird, and I took my time and did it the best I could. And it turned out fairly well. Now it took like 3 hours to do it because I was trying not to mess up. And Dad said he wouldn't come out to look until I had finished both sides because I was putting it on both sides. So I stood up and kind of unkinked myself because I was bent over, concentrating so hard. You know how your body can just stiffen up on you, even when you're young. Gathered all my stuff and went over to the other side. I was working under the carport because it was a hot day. And I did the same thing. 45-degree angle for the, and straight for bird, penciled in all that so that it looked fairly good, and then worked very carefully with that paintbrush to get it all Old English style to the best of my ability. Took another 3 hours, but I got it done. And I was right proud of it. I said, I like that a lot. I said, I think that's cool. And I knocked on the door and said, Mom, you want to see it? And she walked out and she said, that looks pretty good, son. I said, thank you. Think Dad will like it? You'll have to ask him. Anyway, I ran into the house and I said, Dad, come on out. I want to show you what I've done. He said, you finished? I said, yeah. He said, it took you, what, 6, 7 hours? He said, you must have really worked on it hard. I said, I did. Come out and look. I was proud. I was proud because I had done it. I was proud because he had let me do it. Now, the icing is on the cake when he approves after seeing it. Well, I was already out there and going like this, ta-da, when he finally got out, because he wasn't as excited as I was. And he walked his normal pace and came outside. And he stood back and he looked at it. I said, what you think? He said, not bad. I said, what about the other side? So I went over the other side. Ta-da! He looked at it and he said, you did a fine job, son. It looks really good. He said, I think I like it. I said, thank you. That was high praise from my dad. Jeepers. And he said, yeah, we'll keep it on there. You don't have to take it off. I like it. And now I said, can I paint my initials on the on the visor on the inside? He said, in for a penny, in for a pound. Go ahead and do it. All right. So the next day I did that. I painted my girlfriend's initials on the visor on the driver's side and my initials on the passenger side. And he was okay with all of it. I was just floored. My dad had to be really impressed to say what he said to me. So, and I was proud of what I had done, and I was proud that he actually liked it. So that was a double pride for me. And he smiled when he went inside. And Mom came out and said, he liked it. I said, yeah, he said he did. Of course, he said, I don't know how that's going to affect the trade-in value, but we'll worry about that down the road whenever that happens. I said, okay. And about 2 years later when he traded it in, it didn't have that much of an effect on it. And I saw it not too long after that, riding down the street, somebody had bought it, still had the bird on the side. I was triple proud then. Like I say, it wasn't often my dad said something like that. It wasn't often my dad smiled and said he was proud of something I had done. So that really meant something to me. The bird, If you ever see a green falcon riding down the road with the bird on the side, probably won't these days because that was 1964, I think. That was a highlight of my life, or my high school days. Well, so much for my big day way back when. Hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you enjoyed what I just told you, because I did. I enjoyed it when it happened, that's for sure. I like my new pipe. I think it burned a little hot there since I really hit that flame with it, but I like my new pipe. Like I say, I like that ovoid shape there instead of just a round stem coming out. Of course, I still got to learn how to keep it lit. You guys take care of yourselves. God bless you till the next time.